Hey, I'm in Yosemite National Park, right on the edge of the burn area for this year's Ferguson Fire, which was an absolute monster before it reached Yosemite. But once it got into the park, things changed. The Ferguson Fire dropped down to the forest floor. It wasn't running through treetops anymore, and it actually did a lot of beneficial work. If we take a look on the ground right here, you can see these little baby trees are gone now. That's a good thing. If they'd been allowed to grow for another 10 years, they'd be that much taller, and they'd be a ladder fuel, providing a way for the pine needles to spread fire into something a little bit bigger, and then it goes up, and now you've got a crown fire that goes off and running and becomes one of those mega fires that we see across so many parts of California. One of the reasons you don't see that in Yosemite is they've had a completely different approach to fire for the last 4 or 5 decades. They have declared fire has a natural process to play in the forest here, and much like California was before it was settled, fire occurs here. It burns out the forest floor like I just showed you and reduces the fire danger naturally. What you're left with is a forest that's easier to see through. It has larger trees, perhaps fewer of them, but fire scientists are coming to a consensus that that's a good thing. They actually are trying to spread this model that Yosemite is using to more places in national forest land around California. In fact, Inyo National Forest, which borders Yosemite, is in the middle of adopting a new forest plan where more than half of its land is going to have a presumption that fire is potentially good and could potentially be allowed to burn under the right circumstances without being a threat to homes. Of course, areas that are near homes are still going to be protected. They still are going to have a presumption that fire is put out there, but they're trying to spread this model to more places because it allows more of the forest to be cleaned up than you could otherwise through prescribed burning or timber sales, cutting and thinning, that sort of thing. Each part has a role to play, each way of treating the forest, but allowing nature to do more of this work for us is how fire experts say we're going to have a realistic shot of getting to this 500,000 or so acres a year that needs to be either thinned or burned in California to prevent the kind of conditions that have led to the mega fires we're seeing now.